Jackie Robinson Ballpark for today's Division I NCAA baseball game featuring the UCF Knights and your Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Before we begin, let's meet today's starting lineups. First, for the UCF Knights, batting first at center field, number 11, Andrew Williamson. Batting second at left field, number 30, John Smith III. Batting third, catching, number 24, Zach Skinner. Batting fourth at right field, number 21, J.D. Rogers. Batting fifth at third base, number 20, Javier Fresco. Batting sixth at first base, number 10, Landon Moran. Batting seventh as designated hitter, number 51, James Hankerson Jr. Batting eighth at shortstop, number 3, Jordan Lodiz. Batting ninth at second, number 9, Austin Jacobs. The starting pitcher, number 1, right-hander Roman Kimball. The head coach of the UCF Knights is Rich Wallace. He is assisted by Roberto Lopez, Drew Thomas, and Shane Gerke. And now, the starting lineup for your Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Batting first at left field, number 1, Darryl Lee. Batting second at third base, number 36, Andre Martin. Batting third at right field, number 5, Michael Rodriguez. Batting fourth at catching, number 10, Maycall Hussaina. Batting fifth at second base, number 2, Gier Poliedo. Batting sixth at shortstop, number 29, Eric Almonte. Batting seventh at first base, number 33, Jorge Rodriguez. Batting eighth, the designated hitter, number 44, Jose Fernandez. Batting ninth, the center fielder, number 7, Christopher Watson. The starting pitcher is number 34, right-hander Haberstream Abu. The head coach of the Wildcats in his 7th season is Johnny Hernandez. He is assisted by Derek Cataya, Joel Sanchez, Hunter Allen, and Peter Vasquez. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise if you are able and remove your caps as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Live from Jackie Robinson Ballpark in beautiful downtown Daytona Beach, Florida. It's time for midweek college baseball on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Michael Torillo. Happy to have your company. Happy to have the company of Jade Barquette tonight in Daytona Beach as the Wildcats host their final midweek contest of the season here at the Jack, and they get a third straight top 30 test as the UCF Knights travel the 2 hours down I-4 to Daytona Beach tonight. The Wildcats looking for their 4th straight midweek win.
It's going to be a great night for baseball. It's beautiful out here. We got some fans here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark as well. I know they'll start to trickle in as this game gets going. But, Mike, what a better position for this Wildcat team to be in. Coming back home to the Jack, they've been away for some time, had to play at Embry-Riddle because the Tortugas have started. But what a game to have here on this Tuesday against a UCF team that has made their name in the national talk as well.
The Knights have just fallen out of the national top 25 rankings this weekend after dropping 3 of their last 4. 7 days ago, they lost in 11 innings to Jacksonville. The Wildcats know all about heartbreakers to JU, but then they lost 2 out of 3 to Cincinnati over the weekend at home when they were ranked 21st. So it's up to the Knights to try and restore some of that national ranking. And for Bethune-Cookman, all the press they've gotten, all the national media attention, 2 straight SEC wins, all the midweek wins this year, and they've backed it up with a 15-3 conference record. They are flying right now.
Well, yeah, and this team just plays like they have nothing to lose, and they play so free. That's a part of what makes them fun to watch, number one. But number two, their winning ways right now is this team just plays like they have that chip on their shoulder, but that at the end of the day, the other team is going to have something more to prove than they do stereotypically. But this Wildcat team is not one to be taken for granted when they're playing against them. And we talk about a UCF team who playing Big 12, they have a lot of national media attention on their games. When they play Cincinnati, they drop 2 of those 3. How do they turn around and show up here on a Tuesday night?
Well, Andrew Williamson is stepping up to the plate to begin this evening's contest. Williamson, a junior, batting .312. The center fielder, 39 runs, 43 hits, 8 doubles, 4 triples, a team high 10 homers, and 30 RBI, getting on base at 43%. Starting on the mound for the Wildcats today, Harborstring Abreu has been the Friday night guy for this team this season. Got bumped to the midweek this week after 3 straight Friday night losses for the Cats. They're only 3 conference losses of the season, and I think this whole game for Bethune-Cookman is going to hinge on whether Abreu can get his mind right and say, okay, this is not Friday, but I'm still just going to go pitch and do my job. Here's the 1-1 outside, 2-1. And what does that do to someone's psyche, right? They've been the Friday night guy all season long, and then you get bumped in the back third of the season and pushed all the way out to the midweek. That one in the air to right field. Michael Rodriguez racing over and on the move, has the catch, one away.
You ask about the psyche of it. I think it's interesting. I think, for pitchers, they're on a schedule. They have to throw bullpens and specific amount of pitches to keep their arm healthy throughout the season. And I think him having that little stint off, nothing really much changes for his program, but he also has to make sure that he's keeping himself healthy and together for the rest of the team, because that's what this team is based on. Whatever job you need them to do, they'll plug in and do it.
John Smith III takes a fastball strike, letter high. He's a senior batting .339, 23 runs, 39 hits, 7 doubles, 7 homers, 31 RBI, getting on base at 41.8%. A high chopper third base side will go foul. Defensive alignment for the Wildcats. Harvey Abreu on the mound, Michael Lucena behind the plate as the starting battery. Infield left to right, Andre Martinez, Eric Almonte, Jeter Poyeto, and Jorge Rodriguez. And in the outfield left to right, Darrell Lee, Chris Watson, and Michael Rodriguez. The exact same lineup that has started the last 8 BCU contests. And there was an interesting article in the Daytona Beach News Journal this morning about this Wildcats team, and there was a quote from Coach Hernandez in that article that said, something about that long 12-game road trip, as here's the 0-2. Breaking ball into center field, well hit. Watson going back, and he's going to have to play it off the wall. UCF, 2 hard hit balls in the first, and with 1 out, there's a stand-up double for John Smith.
That ball just hung up in the zone, and John Smith crushed it. Great swing by him. It almost went over the fence if there was a little bit more help from him height-wise on that ball, but drilled it all the way out to the wall.
Yeah, but to finish my quote about Coach Hernandez, he said, we found something out about ourselves on that road trip.
I've said all season that when they went on that road trip, it was either going to be a make-or-break moment for this team because you are together so much.
First pitch, breaking ball, strike to Zach Skinner. Skinner also a .339 hitter, 24 runs, 43 hits, 4 doubles, a triple, 2 homers and 23 RBI, getting on base at 43%. 1 away in the first. He's got John Smith on second. The pitch is spiked to the plate. Michael Lucena keeps that in front of him. Lucena named to the catcher All-American watch list earlier this season. Wildcats all over the place in the national media. Andre Martinez was the 3rd baseman on the Baseball America Team of the Week this past week. Abreu's 1-1. Swing and a miss. Missed on the fastball, and it's 1-2. Abreu's got that nasty mix of fastball, change 12-6 curve. The curveball is usually his go-to swing and miss pitch. Here's the 1-2. He goes with the change, and it's fouled away. Count holds 1-2. UCF 21-15 on the season, 11-7 in Big 12 conference play. This is the first of 2 meetings in the next 4 weeks between these two squads. 1-2. Curveball just missed low and away. 2-2. They'll play again in the final midweek matchup of the season over at John Juliano Park on the UCF campus on May 12th. Abreu spins and flips it back to second. John Smith on second after a 1-out double on the fly off the center field wall just to the left of the 400 mark. Abreu's 2-2. Breaking ball fouled away. Count holds. The wind is not going to do lefties any favor tonight. It is blowing in from right over the Advent Health building in right field, gusting 10+ miles an hour. It is a beautiful day, though, 75 degrees, partly cloudy skies here in Daytona Beach. Abreu's 2-2. Got him with the curve in the dirt. That's his swing and miss pitch.
And it looked like he got him right there. Just so smooth when Harvey Abreu is on point, right? You talk about the psyche of it. It seems like he's not taking any chances today, going right at hitters. I love that from Harvey Abreu. That's the Friday night guy that we see.
2 away in the inning. Here's J.D. Rogers. Rogers batting .333, the senior. Just his 7th start on the season tonight. Just 18 at-bats, 10 runs, 6 hits, a double, 3 homers in 18 at-bats, and 9 batted in. Bounce to the plate. Lucena sees that get to the backstop, so Smith will go 90 feet away on a wild pitch. Full numbers on Harvey Abreu, the junior out of Aruba. .422 his ERA on the season, but before his last start, it was down at under 2. 2-2, 9 appearances, all starts, 42 2/3 innings pitched. He's allowed 27 runs on 53 hits. Just 20 of those 27 have been earned. He struck out 41 and walked just 14, but he's behind to Rogers, and he bounces one to the plate again, 2-0. Opponent batting average .301 against Abreu. He's now thrown 5 wild pitches on the season and hit 3 batters.
How you doing, man?
Abreu, one of 3 Arubans on the team this year. The 2-0. Slow chopper foul outside of first, 2-1. And it's important tonight that he keep his pitch count down if he wants to go deep into this one, but also he keep the ball low in the zone. You saw him miss upstairs with that curveball on the ball that was sent to the wall by Smith. We saw Tanner Bocabello back on Saturday struggle with that against Alabama A&M. There's a fastball strike at the inside corner, 2-2. There's a pretty big hole to the pull side as Jeter Poyeto is playing back on the grass, or it would be grass if the whole field wasn't turf. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. 2 straight Ks on the curve for Harvey Abreu. And the Wildcats get out of the inning. No runs, a hit, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the first. UCF nothing. Wildcats coming to bat. You're listening to Bethune-Cookman University Baseball on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. Bottom one at the Jack. No score between the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman and the UCF Knights. Darrell Lee will lead off for Bethune-Cookman, and they will face the right-hander, the redshirt senior Roman Kimball, in his first year at UCF after 2 years at South Carolina and 1 year at Notre Dame. Kimball, a .675 ERA, 0-1, 44 appearances, 1 start. That 1 start was last week, 7 days ago, in the loss to Jacksonville. First pitch, fastball away to the lefty Lee. 12 innings pitched for Kimball on the season. He's given up 10 runs on 11 hits, 9 earned, striking out 11 and walking 6 with an opponent batting average of .250. Lee, ground ball foul outside of first. He's down 0-2. Defensively for UCF, Kimball pitching, Skinner catching. Crespo at third, Lodiz at short, Jacobs at second. Landon Moran at first, the transfer from Stetson. Smith in left, Williamson in center, and Rogers in right. Lee down 0-2. And the pitch from Kimball. Fastball high by the chin. A ball and 2 strikes. D. Lee batting .294. Started all 40 games this season for the Wildcats. 55 runs, 40 hits, 12 doubles. 1 shy of the team lead. 2 triples, 4 homers, and 25 batted in. Kimball's 1-2. Down and in on the slider. 2-2. Darrell Lee getting on base at .473 with 10 steals. This is a Wildcat team that is top 50 nationally in stolen bases. As Coach Hernandez loves that philosophy of get on, get over, get in. Here's the 2-2. Check swing, Lee kept the bat back, full count. Nice AB right now by Lee.
Very much so, and you will see him work counts his entire game. That's a part of, his job as a leadoff hitter. That one close that he kept it on his shoulder, though. Looked like he was going to swing at that one.
Now the payoff from Kimball, right at a lefty. Leadoff batter of the inning for the Cats. Here's a 3-2. Lee gets a piece of it, but fouls it all the way into the parking lot down the first base side. So he'll see another 3-2.
He pulled that ball so far. There's a parking lot right on that right side of the Advent Health building. That's where you parked, I'm assuming? Me too?
Yeah, no, I'm across the street.
Oh, okay, you were really safe with it then, because I thought there was no way someone's going to foul the ball all the way over here. Darrell would do it.
Once again, a 3-2 from Kimball. Strike 3. Called him out on a fastball inside. Lee thought it was up and in. And there's 1 away in the inning. Darrell Lee does lead the team in strikeouts. That's his 38th of the season.
The third baseman, Andre Martinez.
But somehow he still has a positive strikeout to walk ratio, 41 walks, 38 strikeouts.
He's going to see a lot of pitches, and, being that first guy up in the leadoff spot, you're going to, take some strikeouts as well. But Darrell Lee is going to go back to the dugout and let his guys know.
Here's Darrell Lee. Correction, here's Andre Martinez swinging and missing it up and in fastball. Lee, the reigning third baseman on the Baseball America team of the week. Andre Martinez last week against Florida was 3 for 5 with 5 ribbies, a homer and 2 doubles. Behind an account here, 0-1. That one way outside, 1-1. Martinez, after a slow start to the year, he was in and out of the lineup in the first month with an ankle injury, but he has truly rounded into form and has hit 4 home runs over his last 8 games.
Not the home run production that this team potentially thought was going to happen this year across the board, honestly. But they've won some games in different ways. Once
again, a victim of the up and in fastball. Big cut and miss by Martinez. Well, you'll hear me talk about a lot about the up and in fastball tonight, because that is a weakness of this Wildcat batters, and it has been for a couple of years. Especially down the stretch in the regional last year. Florida State and Northeastern went to that up and in fastball a ton. Let's see if Kimball goes for it again here, up a ball and 2 strikes on Martinez. Oh, he does, and throws it over Andre's head.
Did it hit him?
No, I don't think so. It just went straight to the backstop.
It sounded like it skimmed the top of his helmet potentially, but if they didn't react, then I shouldn't either.
Neither the umpire nor Andre Martinez reacted like it hit him. So I'm going to say it didn't. And that's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Martinez swinging a fly ball hit to left field. You can absolutely forget about it. Adios, amigos. Andre Martinez, home run number 7 and 5 in the last 9 games.
And he just continues his firepower, right? Without a doubt, Martinez drilled that one. Beautiful swing. That ball hung right down the middle. He's never going to miss that one. Wildcats up.
That one almost looked identical to the one he hit on Saturday against Alabama A&M. Just absolutely crushed a fastball left middle.
And we were talking before the game, doing his interview for Wildcat of the Week. We talked about his game defensively, but I said, offensively, dude, you have been on fire. What is your #1 priority in the box? He said, anything I can do to put my team ahead, I'll do. Look what he just did.
And then Mikey Rodriguez got hit on the belt.
Mikey Rodriguez needs to be put in bubble wrap. Okay, Mike? Because he has been hit so much this season. He got hit right in the knee against LSU. He took a few knocks against Alabama A&M. But
he's tied for the team lead in hit by pitches, and he's played
not
almost half the games of Jeter Poyeto, who's the other one tied for the lead.
For the ball.
Both of them now with 14 hits on the season. Here's the catcher, Michael Lucena. Breaking ball in the air, left field, down the line. That's going to hop and head to the wall. And it's going to take a bad bounce off the corner. Smith can't find it. It's going to be a relay throw to the plate. Here comes Mikey Rodriguez. He's in there, and it's 2-0 Bethune-Cookman. Nice hustle by Mikey all the way around the bases. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Coach Hernandez in the third base box be super animated when he saw that ball kick off the corner and back towards center field.
And you love that from Lucena, your catcher. He was working in the first inning, having to block balls, steps up to the plate, completely switches his mindset, drilled that one down the line. Beautiful to drive a run in. Mikey Rodriguez got on his horse, made it home, and Lucena, stand-up double.
And this team has been see ball, hit ball.
Well, they just feed off one another.
8 of their last 9 games have been double digits from the Wildcats scoring-wise. Breaking ball called a strike to Jeter Poyeto. Poyeto, a sophomore, batting .301, one of 2 Wildcats that has started every game this season along with Darrell Lee. 40 runs, 43 hits, 12 doubles, 5 triples, 5 homers, and 42 RBI. He's got Lucena on second, 1 out, 2 already in the inning, and he puts a fly ball in the air to shallow right field. Rogers will stand underneath it, make the catch, and Lucena will hang around at second. So 2 away in the inning. But again, ever since Darrell Lee's strikeout looking to begin the inning, the Wildcats have been aggressive at swinging at these balls from Kimball. And now here's the former UCF Knight, Eric Almonte, who transferred over from Orlando to Daytona Beach in the offseason. Almonte, the shortstop, batting .336. The switch hitter will bat left against the righty Kimball. 34 runs, 48 hits for Almonte, 11 doubles, 3 homers, 34 RBI. Lucena on second, 2 outs. Breaking ball, caught the corner, strike 1. Our umpires tonight, behind the plate is Robert Nunez. At first base is Roberto Knox Reyes, and at third base is Jimmy Sapp. Long hold from Kimball. Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball in the air to left field down the line. Chasing after it is Smith, and he will make the catch. A step from the track. 2 runs on 2 hits for the Cats, including Martinez's solo home run, put the Wildcats up 2-0 after 1 here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. To inning number 2 here in Daytona Beach. 2-0 Bethune-Cookman after the Wildcats plate 2 in the first.
Now batting, number 20.
Wildcats trying to win their 4th straight midweek game and 3rd against a team in the top 30 in the RPI. It would be their 4th straight against the team in the top 50 after taking down USF 3 weeks ago. Arby Abreu still on the mound for the Cats. That ball is in the air to right field down the line, tailing foul on top of the flight deck. This is Javier Crespo, the senior third baseman, batting .273. 18 runs on 30 hits for Crespo, 6 doubles, 2 homers, and 14 RBI. He gets on base at 36.9%. Soft little floater through the middle, and that is about as soft a base hit as you will find. But it does the job. Leadoff man aboard for the Knights. And just like every one of these midweekers the past month, Jade, this is going to get crazy. Both teams are going to come out swinging the bats tonight.
Well, that ball, just a little dinker off the jam part of the bat. I mean, whatever way to get on base right now, I just feel like the energy is all Wildcats already. When you saw UCF come off the field, there wasn't really a lot of energy to them putting up a 2 spot in the first. Knights are going to have to come back from this one, and that's part of the mindset I was talking about before the game was you have to have that same intensity for a Tuesday night midweek that you do a weekend series against a Big 12 opponent, especially against a Wildcat team like this who's had success in these type of games against big opponents.
This is Landon Moran, a team that knows the Wildcats and this part of Florida very well. The former Stetson Hatter is even in the count 1-1 after a foul ball and a ball up and away. The left-handed first baseman is batting .261. 27 runs, 35 hits, 5 doubles, 2 homers, 24 RBI, getting on base at 34.6%. Breaking ball slashes through the zone for strike 2 on Moran. The Wildcats, even though they swept Alabama A&M over the weekend, actually fell in the overall net rankings from 97 down to 113. 1-2. Fouled away, count holds. UCF is number 37 in the net. Abreu's 1-2 again to Moran. Upstairs, missed with the fastball. 2-2. One of the things I've noticed about the last 2 weeks or so of this Bethune-Cookman team is when they get guys on with nobody out, they're more than likely bringing them home. And now that UCF has that exact same scenario here, how good are they at preventing runners from coming in? 3-2 the count as Abreu missed low with the breaking ball. The Wildcats are pretty good in terms of stranding runners on base. They strand 70% of all runners. It's good for number 41 in Division I. The 3-2 runner goes, ball 4, and it doesn't matter. So single walk, and the Knights are in business to try and even this one up or maybe even take the lead here in the second.
That was a good at-bat by Landon Moran, a former teammate and friend of my brother and our family. He just knows how to, work an at-bat and very patient when he's in the box.
I saw his name on the UCF roster and went, wait, that can't be the same person, can it? Well, yes, it is.
Yep.
Played many a year at Stetson down the way in DeLand. Here's James Hankerson Jr., the designated hitter. First pitch, low ball 1. And already we've got action going in the bullpen. Dawson Turner is out there for the Wildcats. But that is expected here on this Tuesday. I wouldn't have expected Abreu to go maybe 2 more or 3 innings tonight, especially with him projected to be back in the weekend rotation as the Wildcats will go for maybe the most important series of the season at Florida A&M over the weekend. And
you mentioned it as well. Pitch count already being a little bit high. These first 2 innings have been long for Abreu out there. You have to be mindful of that in the midweek day. People got to throw. Still
nobody out, 2 on. And Abreu finally fires a strike. Outside corner at the knees to James Hankerson Jr. Hankerson, a sophomore, batting .222, starting only his 8th game of the season tonight. Just 36 ABs, 4 runs, 8 hits, a homer, and 11 batted in. Outside 3-1, and Abreu really struggling to find the zone, which even though he has struggled the last couple of weeks on the weekend, specifically Friday nights, walking guys has not been one of his issues. Against the Knights team that can really hit the ball, he is trying to bite the corners, and he is missing badly. 2 straight walks, bases loaded, nobody out for Abreu here. Crespo to third, Moran to second, and Hankerson on to first, and here is Jordan Lodiz.
Wildcats are going to make sure that everything's okay with Abreu. I looked like they were just going to have a chat with Coach Sanchez, but they will make the change now.
Yep, that is going to be the end for Harvey Abreu. A promising first with 2 strikeouts, but he has been wild, wild, wild here in the second. A single and 2 walks have loaded the bases with nobody out, and an unenviable situation to walk into for Dawson Turner, who's been the starter in the last 2 midweeks against LSU and Florida. The defending champs are back in Daytona Beach. Come catch Bethune-Cookman baseball Friday, May 1st at 7 p.m. as they host Arkansas Pine Bluff. It's not going to be here at Jackie Robinson. It's going to be over at the Ormond Beach Sports Complex. As we're going straight to Anthony Anselmo here, so no Turner. Anthony Anselmo, the senior from Spring Hill, the transfer from Warner University, will come on. He's 2-1, 8 appearances, no starts, 22 innings pitched with a .368 ERA. Anselmo, a slow as molasses side-arming righty, will use the junk ball to his advantage. Slider, curveball, changeup. Doesn't really throw anything that could be considered a fastball. Tops out at about 82, 83 miles an hour.
And I feel like the best part about his package of him as a person is just his confidence on the mound. Like, he will go against any hitter and just go right at guys. He's not afraid to attack the strike zone. Him coming in this position does not faze him one bit. He's going to do his job, get weak outs. It's something that he has been doing all season for the Wildcats. and get them out of this jam.
Well, a chance for the Knights to really do some damage here. As here is Jordan Lodiz. And if that name sounds familiar to you, well, you might have heard of his brother, Alex Lodiz, former Florida State shortstop that played against the Wildcats in the regional last year and pretty much kept Florida State in the game. The Wildcats were going to take the lead in the 4th inning of that contest, and Lodiz made a terrific stop at shortstop to keep 2 runs off the board. He got drafted by the Atlanta Braves organization. He's now in professional baseball, and here's his younger brother playing his freshman year at UCF. Tough spot for Anthony Anselmo to walk into. Crespo on third, Moran on second, Hankerson on first. Nobody out after a soft single up the middle and 2 walks. Spelled the end of the night for Harborstring Abreu. Righty to righty, first pitch from Anselmo got Lodiz way out ahead of the changeup. And that speed change can really mess with an opposing lineup after they're done dealing with a fireballer like Abreu. The 0-1. Got him again with the slider away.
And it's the release point because Anselmo can change from going over the top and to the side. So it's the deception and the release point of the ball for Anselmo that gets hitters.
The 0-2. Tappers back to the mound. Going home for 1 is Anselmo. Heads up play. 1 away in the inning. Everybody moves up a base. Crespo is out at home. Moran to third. Hankerson to second. And Lodiz to first.
That's the weak contact that Anselmo's known for right there. Saving a run and earning an out.
Now the Wildcats a double play away from a great escape. Here's the 9-hole hitter, Austin Jacobs. First pitch, a strike, and the crowd really liked that one. It's a really nice crowd out here this evening with the Knights, of course, being so close and bringing a big fan base. There was a lot of Wildcats out here tonight. This being the last home game at the Jack. Swing and a miss by Jacobs, 0-2 before the end of the semester. So I see a lot of students out here as well.
We love to see that they come over to the Jack to support their Wildcats.
Of course, Coach Hernandez put out the call on social media yesterday, saying everybody needs to be here to support Bethune-Cookman against UCF tonight. Here's the 0-2 on Jacobs. Ooh, everybody thought that was strike 3 except Robert Nunez, and his opinion is the one that matters. So now Jacobs, the freshman batting .275, gets another look at the 1-2. Off the end of the bat, pop-up foul territory, headed towards the wall. Reaching over the wall to make the catch is the first baseman, Jorge Rodriguez. Heads up, Knights dugout. There's a freight train coming your way wearing number 33.
Well, Georgie just tracked that ball the whole way. As soon as it came off the bat, he was already searching for it in the air. It can be hard with the shadows. He didn't know where the dugout was going to be to judge that distance, but he went for it fully. And once again, weak contact, earns an out, saves a run.
Back to the top of the order. Here's Williamson. First pitch, a strike, low and away to the left-hand hitter. Williamson flew out to right his first time up on a nice running catch by Rodriguez to his non-glove side. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Got him on the curve. And it's 0-2. Tried to get the swing and miss with the slider down and in. A ball and 2 strikes. Of course, Anselmo, best known for his performance at USF 3 weeks ago. 6 1/3 innings, 97 pitches, where he gutted out a win in that contest. He also picked up the W against Florida when he went 3 2/3. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball, punch towards second. Backhanded by Poyeto. The flip to second, not in time, and UCF's on the board. A tough decision for Poyeto because his momentum was taking him away from first base.
Well, he only had one play, and that was 2 seconds, just because the ball was going in the gap of short and second, and he had to run over, take it from that side of his body. But a great job by the runner by UCF to slide, get his hand in there before the tag was applied.
So 2-1 Wildcats now. That brings up John Smith, who had the only hit of the first inning against Abreu, a double off the wall in center field. Bases still loaded, 2 outs in the inning. The Wildcats have surrendered just 1. First pitch, low ball 1. Anthony Anselmo trying to improbably keep the Wildcats in the lead. That one is scorched but foul and will hit the river on the third base side. That can be sometimes the problem when you are as reliant on your swing and miss stuff as Anselmo is. If you miss a pitch, it can go the other direction very quickly. But this one is popped up, foul territory on the first base side again, and this one is going to hit off the roof. Both Lucena and Rodriguez were right there. And that's a tough play. Tracking the ball against the wind with the sun right in your eyes as it goes down behind the third base line. The count, a ball and 2 strikes on Smith. Smith, the senior from Apollo Beach, Florida, transfer from South Alabama. 1-2 from Anselmo. Got him! Change up away in the opposite batter's box for strike 3. And the Wildcats only surrender 1. 1 run, 1 hit, bases left loaded. We go to the bottom of the second. 2-1 Wildcats here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. We go to the bottom of the second as the Wildcats avoid a top of the second that, by your own admission, Jade, could have got very ugly very quickly, but they only give up 1 and maintain a 2-1 lead here on this final midweek home contest of the season at Jackie Robinson Ballpark.
I mean, it started off no outs, bases loaded, and Anselmo comes in, strikes out 2, or strikes out 1, gets weak contact, and does his job. It could have gone way worse for the Wildcats.
Wildcats up 2-1. Roman Kimball still on the hill for UCF, and will face Jorge Rodriguez. Swing of the first pitch and a foul straight back. Jorge, who made that fantastic catch over the wall into the dugout back in the top of the inning, is batting .248, the senior, 24 runs, 28 hits, 8 doubles, 2 homers, 26 RBI. And the 0-1 is spiked to the plate and off the mask of Skinner behind the plate, a ball and a strike. Jorge Rodriguez getting on base at 36.8%. The lowest in the starting lineup tonight. That takes nothing away from the work he's done over the past couple of weeks, especially defensively over at first base. The 1-1. Breaking ball outside 2-1. And a lot of the things that Jorge Rodriguez gives this team, you can't tell when you're just watching the broadcast. It's a morale thing. It's a leadership thing. One of the guys that came back from last year's championship team to try and run it back again this year.
And I think he's grown so much this season. We've seen it. He went through a little bit of a slump towards that middle and beginning part of the SWAC.
Fastball upstairs, swing and miss,
But
2-2.
He's been more consistent and patient at the plate, seeing more pitches instead of just swinging at first or second once he sees.
He has only walked 17 times this season. The 2-2. Just down 3-2. That's a really difficult take. And he'll see a full count delivery. This matchup of teams that are going in opposite directions. The Knights have dropped 6 of their last 7. The Wildcats have won 9 of their last 10. Here's the payoff. And Rodriguez is behind on the fastball. Second strikeout for Kimball, 1 away in the inning.
Now batting, the designated hitter, number 44, Jose Fernandez.
Here's Jose Fernandez, one of 4 Wildcats to homer over the weekend against Alabama A&M. Fernandez, the DH, the junior, batting .343. 22 runs, 35 hits, 9 doubles, 6 homers, and 28 batted in. Breaking ball just caught the end of it and fouls it into the UCF dugout. He watched in the first inning as Andre Martinez broke the tie for the top of the team lead in home runs with his big fly in the first. Of course, on Saturday, he saw Martinez do that, and then 2 innings later tied him again with one of his own. 0-1. Hard grounder towards short. Lodiz on 2 hops will make the play, and hobbling over to first is Jose Fernandez. He did not look like he got out of the box clean at all. 2 outs in the inning.
He gets back to the dugout and he's not limping, so that's a good sign for him. Just make sure Jose's okay once he does get in the dugout. We'll go straight to the athletic trainer to make sure he's okay.
Wouldn't be surprised if he gets replaced. So the Wildcats just try to keep everybody healthy tonight as they get ready to travel to Tallahassee at the weekend. Here's Chris Watson, fouls one straight back. Watson, .344 his average, but he was batting up in the 370s last week. Didn't have the best series against Alabama A&M over the weekend. Still 27 runs, 22 hits. A double, a triple, 2 homers, and 16 batted in. Fastball, inside corner, strike 2. Watson struck out 4 times in the 3 games against Alabama A&M, 2 of them looking. Kimball trying for a quick 1-2-3 inning. Here's the 0-2. Bounce to the plate on the curveball, 1-2. Chris Watson has come in and taken over one of the spots that I thought was unassailable coming into the year, that being the center field spot of Sergio Rivera, the returning captain from a year ago. But Watson's performances over the last month or so have been impossible to ignore. 1-2. In the air, right center field. That's dropping quickly, and it bounces off the glove of a diving Williamson. Watson on his horse slides into second with a 2-out double.
And Chris Watson, you mentioned it, his success is undeniable right now. He's a senior leader on this team as well, just like Serge is, but Chris is the guy in the dugout who's going to hype you up more, but he'll do a job when you need him to step in, and he has in that center field spot for the Wildcats. At the plate, you see it, he just knocks the balls in gaps, and because of his speed, he can get on base, get extra base hits.
And Watson, very much like Michael Rodriguez, is a guy that's been in this program now for 3 years, has sat the bench the majority of the last 2 seasons. But when given the opportunity via injury to make an appearance this year, that ball gets to the backstop. Watson's going to go to third on the wild pitch by Kimball. But Rodriguez and Watson, when given the chance this year due to some injuries in the outfield, have stepped up and become mainstays on this team. So now Darrell Lee bats with 2 outs and Watson on third, and a chance to increase the Wildcat lead. Of course, Chris will watch for the ever dangerous ball to the backstop here at the Jack, the 1-0. Lee watches it down and in, and fast footwork from Skinner. And it's 2-0. For all of you Knights fans that are watching from further afield and haven't been to Jackie Robinson Ballpark, it feels like a country mile to the backstop here. So with a runner on third, anything that gets behind the catcher is almost certain to score a run. We've even seen Andre Martinez, who's not the fastest guy in the world, score from third on a ball to the backstop this season. Here's the 2-0. Lee, a high fly ball to right field and deep. That goes back to the track, to the wall. It is caught by a leaping Rogers to deny Darrell Lee an RBI and potentially 2.
Great at bat and great hit by Darrell Lee. You saw he wanted that one, but what a track at the wall, never letting that leave his sight, and saves another run for the Wildcats.
Well, the Wildcats strand one on third of the terrific defense from Rogers. We go to the third, 2-1 Bethune-Cookman. You're on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. We go to the top of the third. UCF down 2-1 against Bethune-Cookman here at the Jack. Zach Skinner leads off. He struck out his first time up. Anthony Anselmo starts his second inning of work. Anselmo came on with the bases loaded and nobody out in the top of the second. And through a combination of strikeouts and weak contact, only gave up 1 on 15 pitches. First pitch, strike down the middle.
And he gets right back to it. That's what is so effective about Anselmo. He's going to go right at these hitters, trying to get the job done quickly.
And it's important for these Wildcat pitchers to try and keep the ball down in the zone, the 0-1. Curveball, high fly, center field. Watson tracking and catching it in the shadow of the scoreboard for out number 1.
Now batting, right fielder, number 21, J.D. Rogers.
Here's J.D. Rogers, who, has he gotten his heart rate down yet from making that terrific catch at right field to deny the Wildcats at least 1, potentially 2 runs at the end of the last inning. Rogers also struck out his first time up to end the top of the first. Anselmo deals. Breaking ball call to strike the knees. J.D. Rogers, the redshirt senior from Carmel, Indiana, formerly at Vanderbilt before coming over to UCF. Another curveball in the exact same spot called at the strike. Rogers doesn't like the call. He's behind 0-2. No ABS here, at least not yet. That time, the hanging curve is belted out to right center field, but Watson will back up and leap and make the catch. Well, J.D. Rogers robbed Lee, and now Watson robs Rogers at the wall.
Isn't life in baseball just poetic like that? You couldn't have written that one up better. Watson getting all of the attention right now from the ball with his putouts in center field.
What's the line? How can you not be romantic about baseball?
Exactly.
2 away, here's Crespo, who singled softly up the middle to start the second. Eventually was caught out at home on a slow tapper back to the pitcher with the bases loaded. He takes ball 1 low and away. Crespo watches another one in the outside batter's box. Crespo playing for his hometown team, the Orlando native, but started his career at FIU. Crespo out at Timber Creek High School. 6-foot-tall redshirt senior. This is a upper-class laden UCF roster. With 7 of the starting 9 being juniors or seniors. He's ahead 3 balls, no strikes. This is the first batter where Anselmo really has struggled to find the zone. Breaking ball called, strike inside corner, 3-1. Anthony Anselmo, Jade, is someone that has proved me wrong a couple of times this year. Here's the 3-1. Breaking ball fouled away to the first base side, 3-2. Because normally, the shelf life on a pitcher like Anselmo, relying on the swing and miss stuff, slow as molasses, junk ball type pitcher, is not very long. Usually an inning or 2 before the opposing team times you up, but he has gone 4, 5, 6 innings into appearances this season. There's a slow ground ball towards Poyeto. 1 step on the outfield grass will make the play. And we will get Jade's answer in the bottom of the inning. We go to the bottom of the third, still 2-1 Bethune-Cookman here on the CatEye Radio Network and Swag TV.
Number 36, Andre Martinez.
Andre Martinez leads off the bottom of the third for the Wildcats. They have a 2-1 lead over UCF here at home. Martinez got the scoring started in the first with a mammoth home run to left field. Roman Kimball is still on the hill. I'm expecting a lot of up and in fastballs here. Now, first pitch, breaking ball down and away. Shows you how much I know about the game of baseball. We were talking before we left last inning about Anthony Anselmo and now, his slow, kind of high movement style plays in Division I baseball. And you had an interesting thought, which I'll let you share. Here's the pitch. High pop, left center field. That's going to split Williamson and Smith. Williamson will make the over-the-shoulder catch one away.
I think because Anselmo is so effective with his stuff, that's why obviously he can go longer, because his pitch count isn't getting up too high, but also if he's striking guys out or just inducing weak contact, then there's nothing really you can ask for more of from your pitcher, no matter how hard or slow that he's throwing. And if hitters can't keep up with it because of the change in velo and where his angle of his arm is, because he can switch from both side and then over the top, and his stuff is nasty, and that's why he's so effective for this Wildcats team. He's kind of like a secret weapon to them, but he might be found out soon.
Fastball away, swing and a miss by Michael Rodriguez. Was hit by a pitch and scored on the Michael Lucena double to the left field wall back in the first, the second of the two Wildcat runs. Rodriguez batting .389, best clip on the team. Fastball at the knees, called strike two.
And Mikey is a guy that honestly not saved this season, but it saved this team in a lot of ways because of his effectiveness at the plate, his consistency, and how he filled a role in right field for them when they needed it, and they didn't know who was going to play there after Armani got injured.
Roman way up in the count, wastes one away, 1-2. His on-base percentage, Michael Rodriguez, in 31 appearances on the season is .563. 56.3% of the time he's getting on base. Because he doesn't just hit, he's also taken 26 walks. He's only struck out 15 times. Well, now 16 times. I think I jinxed that one.
Wow.
Down goes Rodriguez, 2 away. And we talked about he's second on the team in hit by pitches in only those 31 appearances.
The catcher, number 10, Michael Lucena.
Michael Lucena drilled a double to the left field corner to score Michael Rodriguez's first time up. A large piece of cotton candy just by Crespo is unsuccessful, and Lucena is 2 for 2.
He had the double that drove in the first few runs or the first runs for this team, and gets himself on with a single right through the glove of the third baseman. The shortstop could not get to it for UCF. Lucena just continues to show up for this team and remain consistent, hot. Got a hot bat.
Little seeing eye single there for Lucena. Here's Jeter Poyeto. Flew out to right his first time up. Kimball up at 41 pitches so far.
No movement to the bullpen for UCF either.
Poyeto, high fly ball right field. That's going to stay in the yard. The wind pushing it back in. Rogers will claim it for out number 3. Nothing on a hit and 1 left. But outside the first inning, Kimball's been pretty effective as we go to the 4th. Still 2-1 Wildcats here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. Landon Moran leads off for UCF as we hit the top of the fourth. Moran has scored the only run for the Knights so far this evening. On an infield single RBI by Andrew Williamson back in the second. First pitch strike to Moran by Anthony Anselmo, who's gone 2 innings of work. No runs allowed technically. That was charged to Harvey Abreu on 1 hit. Moran, fly ball, shallow left. Lee will squeeze it, out number 1. That is really Anselmo's specialty, is that kind of soft contact, either the slow flyouts or the soft ground balls on the infield.
Because he's throwing strikes, but the deception of his pitches, it's allowing, it gets these hitters out front, and they don't sit and wait on the ball. They rush their swing, so they try to get ahead of it.
First pitch to Hankerson, who walked his first time up, ended up being stranded on third, is a strike. James Hankerson Jr., the redshirt sophomore out of Tampa, in the air right field, pretty much straight at Michael Rodriguez. He backs up 2 steps and makes the catch for out number 2. Hankerson started at Florida State before going over to UCF. And here is Lodis. Reached on a fielder's choice. That was the soft tapper right back to Anselmo back in the second. Out away, first pitch for Lodis. I do have to correct something that I was incorrect on.
Go ahead.
Alex Lodis is Jordan's cousin, not brother. I was incorrect on that back in his last AB. His brother Kyle did play college baseball at Georgia Tech, and also was drafted in 2025. Rip back up the middle. There's a ground ball base hit right back where it came from. And a 2-out single for Lodis. In fact, he's going to stretch that out to a double and be in there. Watson was playing really far back, expecting the fly ball.
And that was just a great piece of hitting there by Lodis. Just drilled that ball right back up the middle. Selmo had to kind of get out of the way for that one, but the relay from Watson to second, close there by Lodis, but he gets his hand underneath it.
Here's the 9-hole hitter, Austin Jacobs, popped out in foul territory on the first base side his first time up. Has a chance to try and tie this up with 2 away and Lodis in scoring position at second. That pop-up in foul territory was the tremendous stretch over the dugout wall by Jorge Rodriguez. And Selmo ahead in the count. No balls and a strike. Here's the pitch. Pops it up, foul territory. That'll go out of play into the turtle's nest and bounce off the roof. And it's 0-2. Coming up next for UCF, they'll take a really long road trip out to the West Coast to play the Utah Utes. That one, a curveball hung up in the zone and mashed to left field. That's going to score Lodis. RBI single for Jacobson. It's 2-2.
And we talked about it, right? When that ball gets hung up in the air a little bit, good hitters are going to drill it. That's exactly what happened. That ball just hung up a little bit too much.
The center fielder, leadoff hitter, number 11, Andrew Williamson.
We've heard Coach Hernandez and Coach Sanchez, when you can get a word out of him, which is not often, preach about keeping the ball down.
Oh, Coach Sanchez just caught a stray.
That one right back up the middle, another base hit. Turning for third is Jacobs. He will be there as the throw is late. Runners on the corners now with 2 outs, and you mentioned starting to time up Anthony Anselmo. And second time through the order, it looks like the Knights have done just that. 3 straight really hard hit balls up the middle. Michael Lucena goes out to try and settle down his senior pitcher. Anselmo last year at Warner, the NAIA, was 3-3 with a 3.36 ERA. Throw back to first. Sliding back in is Williamson as the ball gets away on a potential throw. Is that to third or back to the pitcher? Somebody not paying attention. Thankfully, it doesn't hurt the Wildcats too much. Williamson goes to second.
And when Martinez was going over to stop the ball, it looked like he rolled his ankle on that left side again.
That's the ankle that was an issue for him earlier in the year. He's going to walk it off and stay out there at third base. Here's John Smith. Doubled to center field in the first, struck out on the second. Second and third, 2 outs. Fastball away, ball 1. These are the guys you want up in this situation for UCF. Smith and Skinner are tied for the team lead in batting average at .339. Ground ball towards short. Almonte a dive, but he's got no play anywhere as that was too strongly hit. UCF takes the lead. Jacobs comes in, and Williamson advances to third. 4 straight hits, a double and 3 singles.
Credit to Eric for making that play, saving any extra runs that could have gone through, because the runner was going to come from third home if that ball was to get into the outfield. Heck of a play to stretch out to grab that one, but the Knights do take the lead.
Eric Almonte playing against some of his former teammates. I saw him before the game, chopping it up with some of the UCF players. Down and away, ball 1. First pitch to Zach Skinner. 0 for 2, a strikeout and a fly out to center. Runners on the corners, 2 down, 3-2 Knights, as UCF has taken their first lead of the game. On a conga line of singles, slider away. Ball 2. And the Wildcat bullpen gets up and starts hopping around out there.
And all of this has been with 2 outs for the Wildcats.
That one down and away again, 3-0. Andres Barroso is not throwing yet. He's standing around out there. We got the hurry up signal from Coach Hernandez. Inside, hit him. Bases loaded. For the second time this game, the Knights have him loaded up. Smith to second, Skinner to first.
Now batting, the right fielder, number 21.
And Andrew Williamson remains on third. And a chance to blow this one open for UCF. They didn't take it back in the second. And J.D. Rogers, who has both robbed an extra base hit and been robbed of an extra base hit in this game, will get a chance to bat after this meeting on the mound. Andres Barroso is not pitching. He's just the backstop. Brian Rincones is going in the Wildcat bullpen. I mean, ideally here, you trust Anselmo and he gets you out of it. We have not seen the move to the bullpen yet, as Rincones just started warming up, so I don't think we actually will see it. I think Anselmo is going to have to bear down and face Rogers here. Softball's back at Sunnyland Park. Come catch Bethune-Cookman softball Friday, April 24th, as they host Alabama A&M for a SWAC matchup at the start of senior weekend at 5 p.m. Admission is free, or will be here on the CatEye Network or bcuathletics.com/radio.
Can't believe it's already senior weekend. That's crazy.
Bases loaded. In the air, right center field and deep. Watson tracking it near the wall, makes the catch with his back pressed to the Hilton sign. The Wildcats surrender the lead, but not a lot more, as it's 2 runs on 4 hits for the Knights. The base is left loaded for the second time in the game. We go to the bottom of the 4th here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. UCF strikes back. In the top of the 4th, they score 2 runs to take a 3-2 lead
The shortstop, number
on
29,
Bethune-Cookman.
Eric Almonte.
And the former UCF Knight, Eric Almonte, will lead off the frame. Roman Kimball is still out there on the hill for UCF. He's thrown 42 pitches, given up 2 runs on 4 hits and struck out 3 so far. EA flied out to center his first time up. First pitch to him, big old cut and miss. He was trying to send that one to the moon. And it's no balls and a strike.
We were talking about UCF a little bit before this game, both of us former Knights, so beginning to reminisce a little bit. I've spent many a day at John Uliano Park, both working in broadcast and also working the games. I used to work in hospitality there when I was a student, and I would watch the games from up there as well.
0-1 to Almonte. Down and away from Kimball, 1-1. We'll be there the final week of the season as the Wildcats, Knights will square off again. That's on May 12th. Almonte chops at a breaking ball and pops it high in the air to center field. No problem for Williamson, 1 out. Second straight fly out to center field for Almonte. Here's Jorge Rodriguez, struck out his first time up. The Wildcats' remaining schedule
Now batting, the first baseman, number
is
32,
really tough if you look at their
Jorge
conference opponents. I mean,
Rodriguez.
this weekend, obviously, Florida A&M tied with them atop the conference standings at 15-3. The winner of the series up in Tallahassee this weekend will 100% have the inside track for that number 1 seed. First pitch to Georgie. Pop fly, foul ball, out of play. Then you get Florida International, who torched you earlier on in the season in one of the first midweekers of the year. That game was 12-5. Then Arkansas Pine Bluff in a 3-game series. The 0-1. That one lined foul into the Wildcat bullpen down the third base line, 0-2. Arkansas Pine Bluff, one of the top contenders in the SWAC this season. They are currently 4th in the standings, a half game behind Texas Southern, but they beat Texas Southern 2 out of 3 this past weekend. Then you go at Alabama State, always a dangerous foe. They have recovered in the last couple of weeks and have one of the best records in the country over their last 20 games. and then their home finale series against Grambling State, who won the SWAC title 2 years ago. Breaking ball in the dirt, a ball and 2 strikes on Rodriguez. So I said this on our weekend broadcast against Alabama A&M. The easy part of your schedule is done. There are no gimmies left. You got to come out and play ball every day from now to the end of the season. And even Stetson in that final midweeker, who's been down this year, could still give you problems.
They gave UCF problems earlier on this year.
1-2. Breaking ball just low, 2-2. I think Georgie thought he was out. He turned and started walking back to the dugout. He's gonna have to stand in there and see a 2-2 pitch. Kind of slumped his shoulders and turned his back. Here's the 2-2 from Kimball. Fastball, that time he is out. And you kind of saw it coming too.
That last pitch, the one before the strikeout, was the gimme. And he had to foul the next one off first, unless it was wildly outside.
Yeah,
but
you gotta protect an account like that.
Yeah.
2 strikeouts on the day for Rodriguez, and now here's Jose Fernandez, who grounded out to short his first time up. Looked a little limpy coming out of the box. Thought his night might be over, but he stays in as the DH. Fastball away, ball 1 for Fernandez. Fernandez has the top slugging percentage on this team, .608. (1-0) down and in, 2-0. I'd like to see Jose Fernandez stay in a lot more of these counts. I mean, he's got the most lopsided strikeout to walk ratio on the team. 21 strikeouts, just 3 walks. But he's ahead in the count 2-0 here. Aggressive on 2-0 on a pitch up by his collarbone and fouls it off the inside of his bat. And ever since getting in a little bit of trouble in the first, Roman Kimball has allowed just 2 base runners since. And been very effective against the Wildcat hitters. The 2-1. That's a line drive base hit to left. Fernandez sat on the changeup and punished it to left field.
That was just a pretty swing from Jose. Hands came all the way through as he drilled that ball in the gap there. A hit that the Wildcats need. They've been pretty quiet this inning. Can they have that same 2-out response that UCF did in the top half?
Wow. And everything the Wildcats have gotten since the first inning have come with 2 outs. The Watson double, the Lucena single, and now the Fernandez single. Here is Chris Watson, who doubled to right center his first time up. Slow curveball. And it's 0-1. UCF number 45 in the RPI, number 37 in the net coming into tonight's contest. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. Runner goes down to second. Fernandez is in there. Really nice slide by Fernandez. Lead leg on the dot.
And we don't see Jose steal that much. That's that Johnny Hernandez baseball here. We have to get runners across, put some pressure on UCF and Kimball, and UCF just now starting to have some movement in the bullpen.
Just steal number 6 on the year for Fernandez. Watson did swing at that curveball, so he's down 0-2 with 2 outs. Breaking ball in the dirt. Watson watches it all the way. Fernandez retreats back to second. This is going to really have to be a gapper to score Fernandez from second. On Friday night against Alabama A&M, he tried to score from second on a line drive and got, let's just say it wasn't close at home. Kimball trying to get out of the inning, potentially his last pitch of the night. The 1-2. Watson watches it go to the backstop. And Fernandez will move up to 90 feet away. Single steal wild pitch, and now the Wildcats are a base knock away from tying this one up. Watson has to protect here on 2-2. Can't watch anything close. This will be pitch number 59 for Kimball. Watson, dribbler up the middle, fielded by Jacobs, who is in perfect position. And the Wildcats will strand another one on third. Nothing on a hit and one left. We go to the fifth. 3-2 Knights here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. New pitcher for Bethune-Cookman as we hit the fifth. Anthony Anselmo departs, and in his place is the second of the three Arubans we will see tonight. Brian Rincones, the junior out of Orenestad, Aruba. A transfer from Northwest Florida State at the junior college level. Makes his 9th appearance of the season tonight against UCF. He will face Javier Crespo to start the inning. Fastball down, ball one from Rincones. And another switch, Jade, that these UCF hitters are going to have to make from the... Saw Harvey Abreu come out and throw 93, 94 mile-an-hour fastballs. Then we saw down to 78, 79 with Anselmo, and now we're back up into the low 90s with Rincones, the fireballing righty. There's a fastball, just missed low, 2-0.
For Rincones, it's going to be important for him to find the strike zone early and maintain that throughout his outing. These Wildcat pitchers, they are deceptive in different ways. But
You
really,
gotta find the strike zone,
but you have to find the strike zone because these UCF hitters are too good, and they'll take pitches outside. They're not going to swing at balls.
Rincones 2-0 this on the year, 10 innings pitched. As here's the 3-0 to Crespo. There's a strike down the middle, 3-1. A 3.60 ERA, 4 runs on 10 hits, all earned. Striking out 10 and walking 5. He's allowed 1 double, no triples, no homers, and a 294 batting average against. There's a big cut and miss. Cutter in on the hands of Crespo. Crespo is 1 for 2, singled up the middle in the second and grounded out to second in the third. We saw Rincones on Sunday, went 1 inning against Alabama A&M. Strike 3 called, outside and low, and down goes Crespo.
And Rich Wallace is unhappy, fully out of the dugout for the Knights. Exchanging words with the umpire here.
Crespo rung up by Robert Nunez. And well, from our location back here in the press area, I don't disagree with the Knights head coach. Now 1 away in the inning. Here's Landon Moran, 0 for 1, a walk and a run scored. Fastball strike away. Rincones against Alabama A&M on Sunday. 1 inning, 9 pitches, 1 hit, no runs, 1 strikeout, no walks. Away, 1-1. Rincones coming into the year was somebody tagged by the coaching staff as could potentially be that first out of the bullpen, long reliever type guy. And he hasn't really been that this season. Again, only 10 appearances, just an inning and a third here, 2 innings there. But he's got good stuff like that 12-6 curveball for a swing and miss.
What I think has been so important for this Wildcat team throughout this entire season is depth on their roster. We've seen it on the defensive side, having to plug different players in on the field, but also in the pitching staff, they have so many different arms they can go to and still be effective. And that is a key piece of the puzzle of why this team has been winning and really special this year, because they have so many different types of arms, all very effective and deceptive on the mound, going at all different types of hitters.
Count is 2-2 on Moran. And Moran watches a fastball low, full count. And that's what's gonna matter when it comes to tournament time, right?
Yeah.
When you're playing those potentially 6 games in 5 days, you need every arm you've got to come in and be effective. The 3-2. Down low, ball 4. Rincones only delivers his 5th walk of the year. 1 out base runner, second walk taken today by Moran.
James Hankerson Jr.
And those pressure moments in the SWAC tournament, when you have to bring on guys that haven't seen much of the field during the season, can make diamonds, as we've seen the last couple years. I mean, Yo-Yo Diaz, I know he's listening in. He listens to a lot of these broadcasts. Fastball called, a strike to Hankerson. Yo-Yo was someone who almost never saw the mound, and then he had to come in the tournament in a tough spot 2 years ago. Got the Wildcats out of a jam, and then ended up going on to be the closer last year on the squad. Runner goes, Lucena throws down, it is in time, goodbye! Michael Lucena loves to hose runners at second base. He is the top guy in the SWAC in catching stealers.
I told Lucena before the game, he was hype, he was running around like he normally is.
Tipped to the screen by Hankerson, a ball and 2 strikes.
And I asked him, because I like to talk to a lot of the guys, get a feel for where their head's at, you know, coming off the weekend series. What are we expecting? What's their mindset going into today? And he was excited, and I said, you've been stellar behind the plate. What are you looking at throwing people out today? And he said, first one I see. It was the second, but.
Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Down goes Hankerson. 2 Ks for Rincones in the cut stealing, and the Knights go quietly. Michael Lucena has 23 caught stealings on the season from behind home plate, and he gets the Knights to go 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Wildcats still down 3-2 here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. Top of the order for the Wildcats here in the bottom of the 5th. They trail the UCF Knights 3-2. Darrell Lee is 0 for 2, struck out in the first and then flied out deep to right in the second. Rogers leapt up and robbed extra bases at the wall. I thought that would have been the end for Roman Kimball in the last inning, but he is still on the hill with action going in the UCF bullpen.
I think him getting out of it, plus the fact that he has not given up a run since the first, Knights feel confident.
Pitch number 60 for Kimball right there to Darrell Lee as a breaking ball down and in. UCF goes to Utah at the weekend for a 3-game set. Breaking ball right in the heart of the zone. That one dropped off a cliff. Really nice pitch by Kimball. Then they'll be at home on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of May against Arizona State. They rank number 23. And they'll close the season with series against Baylor and Kansas State, the 0-1. Lee way behind on the curve. That's 3 straight curves from Kimball in this at-bat. And it's 0-2. Correction, the count is 1-2. That first pitch was a ball low. Will we see 4 straight curves from Kimball? Yes, but that one misses away outside. UCF 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors. The Wildcats 2 runs on 5 hits and have committed 1 error. Both runs for the Wildcats coming in the first. They've had a base runner in each of the last 4 innings, but have not developed anything other than that. High fly left field. Against the darkening sky, Smith makes the catch, 1 down. And even though the Wildcats have been putting guys on, they have not really threatened. Just 1 hit in each of the last 3 innings.
And if they have, it was because of the unforced errors by UCF, ball going to the backstop, or the runners just advancing because of errant throws.
Here's Andre Martinez, solo homer in the first, flying out to center in the 3rd. Slider away, ball 1 from Kimball. Here's action in the UCF bullpen. 1-0. Slider strike. 1-1. I haven't seen a ton of the slider from Kimball tonight. He's just mixed it in starting in this inning. That's a real nice boon if you're a pitcher. As the 1-1 to Martinez is a chopper towards 3rd. Fielded belt tie by Crespo across the diamond, beats Martinez by half a step 2 away. But if you can save a pitch for later in your appearance, start fooling hitters with it late, that's really good skill to have.
Now batting the right fielder, number 5, Michael Rodriguez.
Michael Rodriguez 0 for 1, a hit by pitch and a run scored back in the first, struck out in the 3rd. Wildcats have struck out 4 times. Bethune-Cookman on the other side has struck out 5 Knights hitters this evening. First pitch to Rodriguez, fastball away, ball 1. Kimball started at Notre Dame, a redshirt year, and then his freshman year there. Then 2 years at South Carolina before coming over to UCF. Has a career ERA of 7.02, that one in the dirt, 2-0. Not helped by a 8 appearance, no record, 16.50 ERA last season with the Gamecocks of South Carolina. Rodriguez fouls that one way out of play. In Kimball's only other start of the year, the 5-4 loss to Jacksonville. Went 4 innings in that one, gave up 2 runs on 4 hits, struck out 3. Rodriguez fights another one away, and it's 2-2. Threw 57 pitches last time out. So he is above that today, that with 67 and counting. So this is his longest outing of the year. All his other appearances have been in relief. 2-2. Rodriguez punches it towards the first base side. Play made by Jacobs to Moran, and the Wildcats go 1-2-3 for the first time tonight. We go to the 6th. The Knights still lead 3-2 here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. Jordan Lodiz leads off for UCF as we go to the 6th here in Daytona Beach. The Knights on top of Bethune-Cookman 3-2. First pitch, strike in the low and inside corner. This is the second inning of work for Brian Rincones. A walk and 2 strikeouts. Back in the 5th for Rincones. And a caught stealing at second. Fastball just low. The frame job by Lucena, not enough to sway the home plate umpire. Slider away, ball 2. The UCF Knights have not been a happy hunting ground for Bethune-Cookman, 17-89 against UCF all time. And Coach Hernandez has yet to beat the Knights in his 7-year tenure here, 0-8. Ground ball to third, backhanded by Martinez. This is a long throw, and the stretch by Rodriguez is in time for the opening out.
He made the team of the week for the NCAA as the third baseman, and that just shows a hard hit ball to his right.
Now batting the second baseman.
Fields it well and then makes the long throw across to first. Good stretch by Georgie as well.
Lodi's retired. Here's Jacobs. 1 for 2 and a run scored. Single to center, came around to the 4th and then popped up in foul territory on the first base side back in the 2nd. First pitch by Rincones, squared to bunt, drops it down, third base side, that's a beauty. Martinez bare hands, throws, got him! Oh, baby, what a play by Martinez.
And he just keeps proving why.
Now batting, the center fielder, number
He's
11,
being recognized the way he is. I mean, that ball was about as perfect as a bunt as you can lay down. And then he comes over, bare hands it, and off one leg. Rich Wallace is not happy about that call either.
That's 2 times now that Wallace has been out of the dugout tonight to argue a call.
A little bit of a shift in the defense for the Wildcats here.
As we go back to the top of the order with Williamson, who's 2 for 3, 2 singles, and an RBI. He's been stranded twice. Fouled straight back, 1-1. The last time these two teams met was 2 years ago. Didn't play in 2025. A 14-1 victory for UCF right here at the Jack. Down and in, 2-1 on Williamson. The last win for the Wildcats against the Knights was back in 2016 when the Wildcats pounded them again in this building, 17-3. But have lost the next 11 since against the Knights. That one outside, 3-1 from Rincones. We talked about the trouble with Rincones trying to consistently find the strike zone. He did walk Moran back in the last inning. And he's behind 3-1 on Williamson here. Williamson laced it to the middle, and that's going to be played on a hop by Watson. 3 hits tonight for Williamson, all singles. And the Knights have life with 2 away in the 6th. Everything for UCF, pretty much of the game, has come with 2 outs.
The left fielder, number 30, John Smith, the third.
They scored their 1 run in the 2nd with 2 outs, as well as their 2 runs in the 4th. Now John Smith, the 30s, also 2 for 3, a double to the center field wall, and a single on the infield to the shortstop. Rich Wallace gonna give some advice to his left fielder before he steps up to the plate. 3-2 Knights here in the top of the 6th. As the sun creeps towards the western horizon here on the east coast of Florida. Check back to first. Painting the sky a brilliant pastel color.
It's beautiful. How can you not be romantic about baseball, right? You said that earlier?
It is a perfect night for baseball. Another check back to first. Williamson, 8 steals on the season, most in the starting lineup. This is not a Knights team that steals a ton.
No.
About 75 degrees at first pitch, probably down, creeping towards 70 now. Outside on the slider, ball 1. A lazy breeze blowing around 10 miles an hour in from right. And across the diamond right to left. This potentially the last gasp of spring weather we have here before it just becomes hot.
Right. There's really no jump. It's just hot.
A 4th check over on Williamson. And I remember at Florida 7 days ago, I was talking to Coach Hernandez for the pregame show interview on the radio, and he said, man, it's hot out here. Excuse me, swing, foul grounder outside of 3rd. And even over the weekend when we were out at Embry-Riddle, it was pretty warm before the sun went down on Friday and Saturday. One and one the count on Smith. In on the hands again, foul back to the screen. Nifty little bare hand catch by Skinner in the on-deck circle, and he rolls that one across to Michael Benedict, who's playing ball boy tonight. The tradition on the team is that if you start the last game, you're the ball boy for the next game. So Benedict started on Sunday.
I feel like Benedict wouldn't mind doing it even if it wasn't his turn.
Another foul ball as Smith barely slows the bat down enough to catch up to the curveball. Wildcats have more action going in the bullpen down there on the third base side. As do the Knights. The 1-2 to Smith. Runner goes, Smith, swing and a miss, strike three. Great stuff by Rincones if that is indeed the end of his innings. 3 strikeouts, 1 hit, nothing allowed through 2. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Wildcats still down 1 on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. New pitcher for UCF as we hit the 6th inning. A terrific start comes to an end for Roman Kimball, and he will hand over to the freshman standout Max Murray. Murray getting his 12th appearance of the season, is 3-2 with a 3.63 ERA on the year. The freshman out of Winter Park, Florida, and Haggerty High School misses down and away with the fastball, ball 1. Michael Lucena 2 for 2 on the day, an RBI double in the first and a single to left in the third. The 1-0 from Murray. Sails it to the backstop, 2-0. Murray was actually highly recruited out of high school as a defensive first baseman. He was the #1 first baseman of the state according to Perfect Game, but it was moved to pitcher after being a district champion and all-conference first team as a senior in high school. He's behind Lucena, 2-0. There's a fastball down Broadway, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Had a rough appearance over the weekend against Cincinnati in a game the Knights lost 9-3. An inning and 2/3, gave up 2 runs on 2 hits. Lucena deep to left field. That is carrying, but is going to be caught by Smith 1 step from the wall.
Lucena Lucena, not really a home run guy, but does have the pop and power. Almost saw that one there. Maybe if the wind wasn't blowing in so much, he would have been helped a little bit, but great contact there by the catcher.
Lucena, no homers on the year. Fun fact, he's the only Wildcat in the starting lineup tonight without a home run this season. But he has 32 RBI, which is third on the team. Here's Jeter Poyeto, 0 for 2, 2 flyouts to right. Breaking ball down low, ball 1. Murray against Cincinnati over the weekend. An inning and 2/3, 2 runs, 2 hits. Both earned, walked 2, struck out 4. Smack to left for a base hit by Poyeto. That's been coming. He's hit the ball hard twice tonight. Just neither of them have found the grass until that one.
And a very good piece of hitting. That one just drilled over the infielders' heads. And it's important that the Wildcats get these guys on base. They have to create some momentum for themselves. They've put up 0 since that first inning, and UCF hasn't really threatened too much, but they did in the 4th, took the lead. Now they have to play from behind, a position that they're not normally in much this season.
First pitch, called a strike outside and low to Eric Almonte. Yeah, the Wildcats, even in their wins against LSU and Florida, led for most of the game. They led the whole way against UF. And of course, the last 2 weekends, won 5 of the 6 games by run rule. Throw back to first, Poyeto slides in. Unlike UCF, the Wildcats definitely a steal threat with pretty much anyone on base. Jeter Poyeto's 10 steals on the year. Wildcats have 4 in the starting lineup with double-digit swipes on the season. And ranked top 50 in the country in terms of total stolen bases. 0-1 to Almonte, watches it low in the dirt. Almonte tonight 0 for 2, 2 flyouts to center against his old club, UCF. Almonte, the senior now from the Dominican Republic. Last year at UCF just had 10 ABs, primarily used as a pinch runner. Coach Hunter Allen over there at first, always with the stopwatch, timing the pitcher's release. Almonte in an even count, 1-1. And another throw back to first. That's close. And barely swimming his hand back in is Poyeto.
With Kimball, he never really checked over to first at all. And now Max has come in and really wanting to make sure that Jeter does not move from that base.
1-1. Almonte, fly ball, center field. Tracking back is Williamson. He's at the wall, and he can't get it. It's off the wall. Almonte cruising into second. Poyeto to third with a 1-out double. I thought that was gone. The wind just barely held it in the park.
It sounded so pure right off the bat. That ball just kept going and going. The center fielder for the Knights, Williamson, had to continue almost back right into the wall. Almonte, a stand-up double, moves Jeter over to third, excuse me. Only 1 out here for the Wildcats.
And that may be it for Max Murray.
And well, we talked about this, the importance of this inning, and they have to get some momentum going for themselves. They have to create that sort of space for themselves to find those opportunities to score runs, because these pitchers and defensively for the Knights, it's been pretty clean. And if your pitcher's doing the work in the top half of the inning, let's pick them up in the bottom, and the Wildcats are doing that here.
If you love Bethune-Cookman University sports, then you won't want to miss Hail Wildcats Radio, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of all 15 Wildcat sports programs, hosted by voice of the Wildcats, Michael Torillo, and featuring the expertise of Bethune-Cookman sports information staff. Hail Wildcats Radio delivers unparalleled coverage of your favorite teams. Tune into 1380 WELE every Saturday to catch the show live, or we're on your favorite podcast platform whenever you like. You're going to want to tune into the episode this weekend. We've got a ton to talk about.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The end of the season for tennis, for golf, softball, and baseball. Massive winning streaks.
We were off last week, so.
Well, yeah, because we were spread out to the ends of the earth,
Get
it
ready,
felt
y'all.
like. Line drive, base hit, third base side for Georgie Rodriguez. That'll tie the game. Scoring is Prieto. Monte goes to third. 3 straight hits for the Cats. Here come Los Gatos.
Hitting is contagious. You saw it there. And just these last 3 hitters. Simple baseball, see-ball, hit ball, drive through. Georgie does a job there. And now with Hosey, it's important for him at the plate just to not get too big for this moment. It has to remain confident. And just, again, there's only 1 out here.
Here comes. And that's it. So Max Murray gets 1 out, allows a run on 3 hits. And his rough form of late continues. And the Knights will go to the bullpen. Nike is the official outfitter of the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Gear up on the newest BCU Nike gear at nike.com/Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. The new pitcher for UCF is Kevin Schoenboom, the senior righty from Arlington, Texas, and the transfer from Northeast Texas Community College. Schoenboom now in his 2nd year at UCF. This season, 20 appearances, no starts, 23 1/3 innings pitched. He's 1-1 with a 2.31 ERA. He's allowed 9 runs on 22 hits, 6 earned. So a really great stopper type pitcher in a tough situation, which is what the Knights are in right now. He's allowed just 2 homers, has struck out 19 and walked 14, hit 6 batters with no opponent batting average on this stat sheet. He appeared twice over the weekend against Cincinnati and allowed no runs on 2 hits, no strikeouts, no walks. Correction, 2 strikeouts and no walks. So it'll be the senior Schoenboom. Last year, 1-2, a 3.67 ERA. And he, like Anthony Anselmo walked into back in the 2nd inning, is in a really tough spot. Runners on the corners for Bethune-Cookman. 1 away in the inning. The Wildcats have already tied the game with 3 straight singles off of Murray. And here is Jose Fernandez. Fernandez 1 for 2. Grounded out to short in the 2nd and singled to left in the 4th. He ended up being stranded on 3rd back in the 4th after stealing and advancing to 3rd on a wild pitch. Wildcats looking to take the lead here, tied at 3. With a brand new pitcher on the mound. The first from Schoenboom to Fernandez. Is a fastball strike. Fernandez just watches it in there. Jose Fernandez, 28 RBI on the season. Another one would give the Cats the lead. High upstairs by the collarbone. 1-1. Schoenboom last season made the second most appearances of anybody on the Knights squad, 22 appearances out of the bullpen. In the air, right side, down the line in foul territory, and a basket catch. Trying to score from third, and the throw, it gets away from the catcher. Almonte scores from third. Going from first to third is Rodriguez, and Bethune-Cookman takes the lead with some heads-up base running. First off, what a tremendous catch by Landon Moran in foul territory. Full sprint basket catch over the shoulder. But again, credit to Eric Almonte for sprinting home after, and the ball should have beat it. But the ball got away from Skinner, the catcher skidded away towards the bullpen. And Eric Almonte scores on a crazy play, and the Wildcats have a 4-3 lead.
One thing this Wildcats team will do is capitalize and have smart base running decisions. You saw it right there. Almonte using his speed, I know that one felt good. Scoring on your former school.
Chris Watson ahead of the changeup, 0-1. Watson 1 for 2. A double back in the second was stranded on third, and a ground out on the infield in the fourth. He's got Jorge Rodriguez 90 feet away with a potential 2-run cushion for the Wildcats if he can find some green grass in the outfield. Check swing. Called a strike, low and inside. And Derek Cartaya is going to call timeout and talk to Watson, who's now down 0-2. I guess both squads have not been overly happy with the way balls and strikes have been officiated this evening.
At least they're both not liking it, so it's consistent in some way, right?
So Derek Cartaya takes a timeout to talk to his senior Chris Watson. The Wildcats have stormed back with 2 in the inning on 3 hits and I guess you call that a sacrifice pop-up.
Yeah.
Rarely you see something like that happen, but there you go. And now Watson is down 0-2 on Schoenboom. Schoenboom trying to get out of the inning and give the Knights a chance to respond in the 7th. Off the end of the bat, Watson stays alive. Well, if you came into this thinking it was going to be anything other than a barn burner, you haven't been watching much BCU baseball this season.
I was literally going to say all season. Keep us on our toes.
Doesn't matter who the Wildcats play, they play them tough every night.
Yeah.
That goes back to Yale at the start of the season with that season-opening walk-off win. 0-2 outside.
When I talked to Giancarlo Zambrano last week, before the Gainesville game, or before the UF game in Gainesville, he just explained it perfectly and said that we don't play like we have anything, we play like we have nothing to lose. And you see it in the way that they just continue to battle back each and every game.
Watson leans away from a fastball up and in. 2-2 now. And
they truly feed off one another. You've seen it in this inning. They just pass the bats back. They feed off of each other's movements on the base paths. And yes, Johnny's will send them from third, but they have the freedom and the IQ to continue their run or stop if they feel like they can make it. You saw it with Almonte.
Watson, pop fly, out of play behind the plate. He chased that one up and out.
But he got a piece of it, and that's what he needed to stay alive.
Still 2-2. 4-3 Bethune-Cookman with Jorge Rodriguez 90 feet away. Schoenboom delivers the 2-2. Watson protects again, and we'll see another one. This feels like a pivotal moment in this contest. Watson strikes out swinging on the slider. The Wildcats strand one, but they get two to take a 4-3 lead as we head to the back third. 7th inning coming up here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. 4-3 Wildcats. Lots of energy in Jackie Robinson Ballpark tonight. Big crowd watching the UCF Knights and the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. The Wildcats, 2 runs in the 6th, take a 4-3 lead, and they hand over to Pablo Torres.
Now batting for the Knights, the catcher,
Former
number
SWAC
24,
reliever of the year.
Skinner.
Before the 2025 season, named the number 30 reliever in all of college baseball by perfect game. Now in his 3rd year in maroon and gold, Pablo Torres. First pitch up and in. Ball 1 to Zach Skinner. Skinner 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch, a strikeout, and a fly out to center. Up and in, and Pablo Torres' biggest issue this season has been his command. On the year, 2-0, 12 appearances, 2 saves, 15 innings pitched. That one, a fastball down Main Street, 2-1. A 1.20 ERA, 4 runs on 9 hits, just 2 earned. Striking out 19 and walking 13 with a batting average against of 176. 2-1. Skinner couldn't catch up to the fastball. Torres is really the only guy on this Wildcat staff who can run the fastball up into the high 90s, 96, 97. And has highly been touted over the past couple years as a pro prospect. However, had to deal with an injury late in the 2024 season. Missed most of 2025. That is an excellent changeup down low, swing and a miss by Skinner. But sometimes you see flashes of the raw talent that Pablo Torres has. Sometimes he just struggles to bottle it a little bit.
And I think that just comes with the freedom to just throw. I think you look at this entire game and he has fed off the momentum and confidence of the pitchers in front of him. And then when you have your stuff, you have it. And Pablo has pitched well, seeing his first batter.
Low ball 1 to J.D. Rogers, who's 0 for 3, a strikeout and 2 flyouts to center field. Chris Watson has been his nemesis today.
Chris Watson has been a lot of people's nemesis.
Nemesis?
We'll save, nemesis? I don't know. We'll save that for later.
There's a strike outside corner to Rogers, 1-1.
I'm glad I stopped myself before I said the full thing.
Sometimes you just got to quit while you're ahead.
Right? That's self-awareness right there.
Cut and miss on a cutter. And it's a ball and 2 strikes. Rich Wallace now in his 3rd year at the helm of UCF, the head coach. That one up and out, trying to get the chase, 2-2. Went to a regional in 2024 in his first season with the Knights. Wallace, an alma mater of a graduate of UCF, I should say. That one, a curveball, fly ball to left. Lee tracking it against the floodlights and will secure out number 2. That one took a bit of a weird route to get to Lee. It started towards right center, then hooked hard left. A lot of spin on that one off the bat. Lee able to track it down. Here's Javier Crespo. Crespo singled up the middle in the 2nd. Grounded out on the infield in 3rd and struck out in the 5th. Ground ball, first base. That's going to get down the line into the corner. That could be 3 bags for Crespo if he's on his horse. He's going to 2nd. He is going to go to 3rd. The throw is going to come in from Poyeto. He is. Oh, he's in there safely. If that throw had been better from Jeter, he had him beat. But the throw was wide, and a triple with 2 outs for Javier Crespo. Crespo didn't send it around 2nd. He kind of held up until he saw his coach putting on the go sign.
And I'm confused as why Crespo didn't continue his run around 2nd, because Gerke, the 3rd base coach, never stopped sending him the whole time. They never put the stop sign up once, and Crespo would have had a clean 3.
Clean or not, it is 3, and now
Right.
the tying run 90 feet away. Here's Landon Moran, 0 for 1 with 2 walks, and he was caught stealing back in the 5th. That hit by Crespo, just a seeing eye single, barely out of the reach of Rodriguez's glove down the line. First pitch to Moran, up and out, fastball, ball 1. I mentioned Rich Wallace is a graduate of UCF. That one, a little flare down the 3rd baseline, just foul. They were back in the A-Sun when Wallace played for them in 2000 to 2002. He's trying to get back to the NCAA tournament for the 2nd time as the head coach of the Knights this season. Upstairs, 2 balls, 1 strike. And barring an absolute collapse in the last 3 weeks, I think they've got to be in as an at-large team at minimum, even if they don't end up winning the Big 12, which they still might. Little fly ball jam shot to shallow left. Almonte goes out, backpedals and makes the catch. So the triple doesn't hurt the Cats. No runs, a hit, and Crespo left on 3rd. Wildcats still lead as we go to the bottom of the 7th, 4-3 here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. Stretch time here at the Jack. Hope everybody got a chance to get up and stretch as we go to the bottom of the 7th here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Top of the order due up for Bethune-Cookman. Darrell Lee leads off. He's 0 for 3. He will face Schoenberg. Who came in and got the, Kevin Schoenboom, who came in and got the last 2 outs of inning number 6 and limited the Wildcats to just 2 runs after Murray gave up 2 on 3 hits. D. Lee up 1-0 in the count. Swing and a miss. Nice pitch. Breaking ball down and in. Let's go around the SWAC on this Tuesday evening of non-conference baseball. Of course, it's 4-3 here in Daytona Beach. Alabama State is in Georgia, taking on the Mercer Bears. Lee, foul ball, third base side out of play, 1-2. Alabama State's down 12-4 in the bottom of the 6th, and Mercer with 2 on, 1 out, looking to put more runs on the Hornets. Grambling State is at the University of Louisiana, fighting hard, down 4-3 in the bottom of the 3rd. Prairie View A&M was supposed to be at Houston Christian out in Houston. That game postponed due to weather. And Alcorn is on the road at Southern University of New Orleans. That's an NAIA school. No score reporting from that one. Called strike 3. Darrell Lee does not agree with it. That's his 2nd strikeout looking of the night. And Lee now 0 for 4.
Now that is the third baseman, number 36, Andre Martinez.
There have been a couple of those tonight where guys have been sat down looking on stuff that has looked a little egregious to my eyes. And it's gone both ways. Both coaches unhappy with how the balls and strikes have been officiated. Andre Martinez gets a hold of one, but that's just going to be a lazy fly ball to center field. That's corralled by Williamson, 2 outs. In the Big 12 tonight, Cincinnati is at Wright State. Kansas State is at Grand Canyon in Phoenix. Kansas State, in fact, defeated Grand Canyon 8-3. Wright State beat Cincinnati 12-7, but Wright State is a perennial powerhouse out there in Ohio in the Horizon League. They've won multiple Horizon League championships over the past couple of years. Not surprising that they won that one. Utah, who the Knights will face this coming weekend, is behind 4-0 against Utah Valley. Fastball away to Rodriguez, 2-0. Houston and Rice are playing a cross-city matchup tonight. Texas Tech trails Tarleton State. It's the day to the directional school underdog today in the Big 12. 2-0 on Mikey Rodriguez, who is also having a tough night. 0 for 2, hit by a pitch and scored in the 1st. The top 3 in the Wildcat order tonight, a combined 1 for 10. That one being the Andre Martinez solo home run back in the 1st inning. That's the 2nd free pass, though, for Mikey Rodriguez tonight as he takes a walk, and the Wildcats have 2-out life again. The Wildcats have had a 2-out base runner in the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, and now the 7th. But have not pushed any of them across with those 2 outs.
And that's going to be the question mark or the circle to work on, talk about. Either way this game goes, they have to secure their opportunities as much as they can to drive those runners in, especially later on into the season, going in to play FAM this weekend as well.
First pitch, a strike to Michael Lucena, 2 for 3. An RBI double in the 1st, a single with 2 outs in the 3rd, and a fly ball to left field in the 6th. Dallas Baptist and TCU are tied at 2 in the bottom of the 4th. Continues to be look at the Big 12 games going on tonight. Here's the 0-1. Off the end of the bat, little pop fly behind second base. That is secured easily by Jacobs, and the Wildcats go quietly again. Nothing, no hits, one left. We go to the 8th. The Wildcats still lead 4-3 here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. Two innings left here at the Jack. 4-3 Wildcats over the Knights of UCF. Bethune-Cookman trying to win their 4th straight top 50 RPI midweek game. Still 6 outs to get. James Hankerson Jr. leads off. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Pablo Torres still on the hill. Torres threw 16 pitches in his first inning of work. That one smacked right back up the middle for a base hit. Leadoff man aboard.
Hank wastes no time there. Just drilling first pitch he sees. That ball kind of down in the zone, but he got his bat underneath it enough to push it right up the middle. Gets himself on base. Now the Knights need a response as they start to run out of outs.
Head coach Rich Wallace talking to his freshman Jordan Lodiz.
Now batting the shortstop, number 3, Jordan Lodiz.
Lodiz 1 for 2 with a fielder's choice, a double and a run scored. He's also grounded out to third on a really nice play by Andre Martinez. James Hankerson Jr. on first. Nobody out. He represents the...
13,
Oh, we have a pinch runner over at first base. Caden Gaskin is the pinch runner. The Knights will try some small ball as Lodiz squares to bunt. Lodiz pulls it back 2-0. We talked about Torres being a little bit wild in the last inning. Was able to keep the command there. That time, bunted foul on the first baseline. And bunting on a field that is all turf like this is so much difficult than bunting on dirt and grass, because you don't get the ball that just dies in the dirt or kicks off a blade of grass and stays fair. Everything plays true.
And especially when you're not used to the turf either, it's a whole different animal as well.
The square again from Lodiz, gets it down, foul. It's 2-2, and now Lodiz gonna have to swing the bat. Continuing our journey through the Big 12, Sam Houston has come back to take a 4-3 lead on Baylor in the bottom of the 5th. That's at Sam Houston. Lodiz gonna square on 2-2. He pulls it back and takes a ball upstairs. A throw it over to first, and scampering back is Gaskin. Oklahoma State a 5-1 lead over Wichita State, the 3rd. The Cowboys have the bases loaded there. Nebraska and Kansas playing a ranked rivalry midweek game. That's a fun one. Lodiz is right in front of the home plate. That does the job, gets the runner to second. Tying run in scoring position now with one out, and here's Austin Jacobs.
I think Johnny's going to ask if that was a foul ball.
Again, we got to reiterate, no replay here at the Jack. So the most that Coach Hernandez will get is a conversation between the umpires. I didn't see anything untoward with that play. It looked normal. Your typical sacrifice, although with 2 outs, the sacrifice is a tough call because if you bunt that foul, you're out.
Right.
Coach Hernandez obviously not getting what he asked for, and he'll retreat back to the Wildcat dugout. Here's Austin Jacobs, the second baseman. Popped out in foul territory in the second, singled to left center in the fourth, and tried to bunt in the sixth, but was picked by an amazing play at third by Andre Martinez. Wildcats playing this really pull heavy. Breaking ball, strike one. With Poyeto holding the pinch runner, Caden Gaskin, at second. This throw back to second. Poyeto applies the tag, not in time. Nebraska leads Kansas 4-3 in that matchup in the bottom of the fifth. Maybe the most shocking result of the night. Pittsburgh 19, West Virginia nothing. That one's a line drive. Oh no, a little soft chopper towards short. Almonte will throw out Jacobs 2 away. I thought that was harder hit off the bat than it ended up being.
A little chopper to Almonte over there at short. He does well to collect and fire the throw over to first. Just simple baseball right now. Clean outs by Pablo Torres.
Now batting, the center fielder, number 11, Andrew Williamson.
Well, this is best on best right now. Here's Andrew Williamson, preseason All Big 12. Last year hit .352. The St. Pete native will go right at the Orlando native, Pablo Torres. The tying run on second, and I don't think Torres likes the baseball. He wants to get rid of it and get a new one. Oh, they're going to put him on. They are going to choose to not pitch to Williamson, who's 3 for 4, and instead attack Smith, who's 2 for 4.
Now batting, the left fielder, number 30, John Smith, the third.
Interesting tactic here.
Right. You put Williamson on, but that doesn't mean that.
Smith has hit the ball hard.
Right.
2 strikeouts, a double to center field, and a single up the middle. Breaking ball, strike one. Nice slider by Pablo. UCF has out-hit the Wildcats tonight 10-8. Both teams have made 1 error. The 0-1. Upstairs on the fastball by Torres. UCF has stranded 9 on the base paths tonight. But that's the kind of game the Wildcats play, on the knife's edge, walking the high wire. Slow roller towards third. Almonte, tough play across. Oh no, he's safe. Rodriguez's foot came off the bag as the stretch was just a little bit too much. Coach Hernandez gonna come and ask the question. And again, coach can argue, but no replay here. And it definitely looked to me like in real time his foot came off the bag. So for the 3rd time tonight, UCF has the bases loaded. Zach Skinner is 0 for 3 was hit by a pitch in the fourth, struck out twice and flied out to center.
I think the umpires just got away with something, Mike.
The Wildcats stranded 3 nights in the second and in the fourth. Can they do it again? Can they pull another rabbit out of the hat? Swing and a miss, fastball in the dirt. Zach Skinner is tied with John Smith for the top average on the team this year, has 23 RBI. 24 would tie it, 25 would give the Knights the lead. That one's up the middle, and it's gonna be a base hit, and the Knights will have the lead. Watson bobbles the ball in center. Gaskin scores, Williamson scores, and it is 5-4 Knights. And here comes Coach Hernandez, and Pablo Torres' night is probably done.
I would assume so as well. And again, just another good piece of hitting by the Knights. They have had to come back in this game now twice, and there by Skinner, who's had a day himself, behind the plate and at the plate.
5-4 UCF.
And Pablo has had a good outing. Just unfortunate missed call there by the umpire, or up in the air missed call by the umpire.
I'm going back and watching it on replay. Oh, that's very close. Yeah, he's safe. He's 100% safe at first. I just went back and watched the replay of the play over at first with John Smith.
Now batting the right fielder, number 21, J.D.
So Pablo's going to stay in and try and limit the damage here. 2 RBI single by Jack Skinner, his first hit of the night. Here's J.D. Rogers, who's 0 for 4. 3 flyouts, 2 to center, 1 to left, and a strikeout. First and second, 2 outs, 2 in the inning for the Knights. Swing and a miss. Big hack by Rogers. In the inning, Hankerson led off with a single up the middle. He was replaced by Gaskin, the pinch runner. Lodiz had a sac bunt. Jacobs grounded out to short. Williamson was put on an intentional walk. That one strike 2. Then Smith singled on the infield on a bang-bang play at first. And Skinner singled up the middle to bring both Williamson and Gaskin home. 0-2. And Rich Wallace is going to take a timeout to talk to Rogers. Rogers, the 0-2 pitch coming from Pablo Torres. Fastball upstairs, didn't get the chase. One, 2. 2 outs, 2 on. Strike 3, fastball up and away. Rogers strikes out for the second time, but the damage done. 2 in the inning for the Knights, 5-4 UCF. And the Gatos are going to have to go locos again if they want to win this one. We go to the bottom of the 8th, 5-4 UCF here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. Jeter Poyeto leads off the bottom of the 8th for the Wildcats. They trail again, 5-4 against the UCF Knights.
Need your base too. Let's go lead off. Need your base.
Kevin Schoenboom still on the mound for UCF. Down and away, ball 1. Schoenboom, 18 pitches. An inning and 2/3 already. No strikeouts. Oh, sorry, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk, no hits.
Come on, need your base too.
He's come in and been the stopper that the Knights have needed to give their offense a shot. They took it.
Good eye.
Upstairs, ball 2 on Poyeto. Poyeto tonight, 1 for 3, singled left in the 6th, and then flied out to right twice in the 1st and 3rd. Long hold from Schoenboom. Poyeto fouls it straight back 2-1. Wildcats 6-game winning streak on the line. And a ton of momentum going into their biggest series of the year on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Tallahassee against Florida A&M. Poyeto behind the up and in fastball, 2-2. Wouldn't be surprised if Schoenboom goes right back to it.
Let's go 2.
2-2. Poyeto pops it up on the infield third base side. Crespo
I got it.
makes the catch. 1 away. Now it's the Wildcats with not a ton of outs left to work with.
Now batting for shortstop, number 29, Eric Almonte.
Here's Eric Almonte, missed a home run by an inch to center field last time up. Ended up getting a double and scoring the go-ahead run at the time for the Wildcats back in the 6th. There was a defensive change for UCF. Called strike, down and away. Williamson has gone from center to right. Replacing him as right in center is Diamez Ross. Middle infield very deep for the Knights. There's another strike, same exact spot. You know it exists now, you gotta protect it.
Oh. Your dealer not ready yet, Blue.
Almonte outside of his double to center in the 6th has flied out to center field twice. Oh, 2 upstairs. Tough take by Almonte, but he stays in the count 1-2.
Don't need base runners now. Let's go 2-9. Need base runners.
The puncher towards the second baseman. Jacobs bobbles, throws in time. Nice recovery by Jacobs. 2 outs.
Jacobs wanted to make it interesting there, but popped it right back up to himself. Clean throw over to first. Wildcats down 2 quickly.
Jorge Rodriguez, 1 for 3, 2 strikeouts and an RBI single in the 6th. That, at the time, gave the Wildcats a 4-3 lead. The Knights responded in the top of the 8th to make it 5-4.
Tied up.
Pop fly out of play, first base side. The Knights are no stranger to close games down the stretch. They have 4 walk-off wins on the season. And this, while not technically a walk-off, another late show for the Knights if they could survive here.
Tied up.
Check swing, did he go? No, says first base umpire Roberto Knox Reyes. 1-1. Two in the pen for the Wildcats, one for the Knights right now. Two balls, one strike now. After that one goes upstairs. Jorge Rodriguez batting just .248 on the year, lowest average in the starting lineup after leading the Wildcats in batting average a season ago. 2-1, fouled straight back. 2-2. And Schoenboom, one pitch away from another clean inning. He has gotten out 7 of the 8 Wildcats he's faced since coming on in the 6th.
Tied up 3-3.
Hop fly, foul ball out of play. We'll see another 2-2.
Georgie battling right now, but he cannot allow himself to chase the ball that's outside the zone.
Let's go, 3-3, go yard.
Schoenboom trying to hand this over to the closer. The 2-2, upstairs and in. Georgie jumps back and the count goes full. Schoenboom, the senior. Fly ball, foul territory towards the bullpen. That is gonna be caught right at the wall by Landon Moran. 8 of 9 retired by Schoenboom, and the Wildcats will have to get cleanly through the top of the 9th before trying to walk it off. They trail by 1 here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV.
Now batting for the UCF Knights, number 20, the third baseman, Javier Crespo.
Javier Crespo leads off the top of the 9th for UCF. They have a 5-4 lead over Bethune-Cookman here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Final home midweek contest of the season for the Wildcats. Justin Morales is in, so the Wildcats have thrown all 3 of their Aruban pitchers tonight. Harvesting Abreu, started on the mound. We've also seen Brian Rincones and now Justin Morales. Morales, the World Baseball Classic star with the Netherlands. One of only 2 college players to play in the WBC this year. Rincones on the year 2-1, 12 appearances, 1 start. That was the LSU win 2 weeks ago. A 2.95 ERA. Spiked that curveball, 2-1. 21 1/3 innings pitched on the year for Morales. He's allowed 11 runs on 14 hits, 7 earned, striking out 19 and walking 16. He's allowed 3 doubles, no triples, no homers, and has a batting average against of 194. That one, the fastball low, 3-1. He's mostly been his own worst enemy with the walks. You could say that about pretty much the entire Wildcat pitching staff. 3-1. Spiked ball 4. Inauspicious start for Rincones. Sorry, for Morales, excuse me, as he walks Crespo. Imperative that the Wildcats hold the Knights here to give them a chance in the bottom of the 9th, down by 1.
The first baseman, number 10, Landon Moran.
Landon Moran, 0 for 2 with 2 walks tonight. A fly out to left and a pop out to short on the outfield grass. First pitch, fastball strike, low and away. Again, that low and away to lefty strike has been there with Robert Nunez behind the plate the whole night. Take advantage of it if you can, if you're the pitchers. Bunted, foul behind the plate by Moran. Moran, senior from Altamont Springs, Lake Brantley High School. And of course, 3 years at Stetson before now a senior season in Orlando. 0-2. Swinging a chopper right back to Morales, who dives off the mound, throws the first for the outs. Gaskin pinch ran for Hankerson in the last inning and scored the tying run for the Knights. First pitch, swing and a miss, and an up and in fastball. Gaskin, 286 hitter, 22 starts. This is his 30th appearance on the season. 17 runs, 28 hits, 3 doubles, 10 RBI. Getting on base at 36.4%. There's a fastball and a beauty on the outside edge.
Let's go, 3-2.
The 0-2 to Gaskin. Breaking ball didn't offer at it, did Gaskin. Long hold by Morales, under 6 on the pitch clock. Fastball, strike 3 at the belt buckle. Down goes Gaskin, 2 away. And here is Lodiz.
Now batting, the shortstop, number 3, Jordan Lodiz.
1 for 3 with a fielder's choice, Lodiz. One of those outs, a bunt, the other one a ground ball to third. First pitch to him. Breaking ball, didn't catch the corner, 1-0.
Close. Just did not break enough.
Jordan Lodiz, the standout freshman out of Brunswick, Georgia. Morales, the 1-0. Inside, 2-0. Austin Jacobs on deck if the inning gets that far. Morales behind on the count, 2 balls, no strikes. That one low, 3-0. Javier Crespo, who led off the inning with a walk, is on second in scoring position with a chance for some insurance for the black and gold. That one called a strike on the inside corner. And Morales stays alive in the AB, but now gotta serve one to Lodiz, whose one hit on the night was a sharply hit ground ball right back up the middle of the second inning. He started that 2-run, 2-out rally for the Knights in the second. Off the inside of the bat, fouled away, 3-2. Most important pitch of the ball game coming up right here. The payoff pitch with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. Morales shakes one off, now comes set. And from the stretch deals. Popped foul behind the plate. We'll see another payoff. UCF desperately needs a momentum shifter. They've lost 6 of their last 7 games, including dropping 2 out of 3 at home to Cincinnati over the weekend. Once again, the 3-2. Breaking ball, ball 4. The inning continues, 2 walks and a strikeout in the frame for Morales. And he will see Austin Jacobs, who is 1 for 3, single and a run scored in the 4th. Other than that, a pop out, a failed bunt, and a ground out to short. First pitch to him, inside, ball 1.
Go ahead at 3-2.
Another long game here at the Jack tonight as we crest the 3-hour mark. Down and in, ball 2 as Morales continues to struggle with command. I don't think Morales will be allowed to continue if this one gets away from him.
Zambrano warming up.
Another ball, 3-0. Coach Hernandez waiting on the top step of the dugout. Time called by Eric Almonte as he's going to go over to talk to his pitcher. Morales, the family of a former Olympic swimmer, a former Tallahassee State College player. Trying to lean on every piece of mental strength he has. Did have a rough outing over the weekend against Alabama A&M. That one he just serves up down the middle. 2/3 of an inning, gave up 2 runs on 1 hit, walked 3, as he was dealing with some little bit of lightheadedness and dizziness on the mound. The 3-1. Called a strike on the inside corner, 3-2 again. Once again, a full count delivery from Morales. Austin Jacobs with 2 on, 2 outs in the 9th. High fly ball, right field down the line. Rodriguez got it. No runs, no hits, 2 walks, 2 left. 1 to tie, 2 to win as we go to the bottom of the 9th here on the CatEye Radio Network and SWAC TV. To the bottom of the ninth we go. UCF 5, BCU 4. And it'll be the fifth-year senior, Chris Sosnowski, to try and close things out for the Knights. On the year, he's 1-0, 15 appearances, 2 saves, 19 2/3 innings pitched with a 2.75 ERA. He's allowed 6 runs on 20 hits, striking out 13 and walking 6. The career Knight looking for his 9th career save in his 99th career inning.
Wow.
Jose Fernandez leads off for the Wildcats. And that first pitch is a slider that escapes to the backstop. And that invokes a response from the Wildcat fans that are still here at the ballpark after 3 hours and 5 minutes. Fernandez today 1 for 3, singled to left in the 4th, other than that, grounded out to short and popped out in foul territory. Swing and a foul straight back off the hands. 1-1.
Let's go, Cat.
Sosnowski originally out of Lutz, Florida. And Tampa Jesuit High School, of course, that athletic powerhouse over on the west coast of the state. The 1-1. Breaking ball in the air to center field. That is going to drop in for a leadoff single. Jose Fernandez pounds his chest, and he's the tying run aboard with nobody out. That's all you need to do, right? Put the ball in play, pass the bat to the next guy.
It's exactly what the Wildcats need to do right here. Jose does his job again, another hard hit ball, and he will be pinch ran for by Caleb Scott.
And then, so Caleb Scott's going to be a pinch runner. And Mr. Clutch from last year himself, Sergio Rivera, had 2 walk-offs in the SWAC tournament last season. Sergio Rivera is going to pinch hit for Chris Watson.
Serge has not played in a week plus right now. This is the trust that they show when they're senior.
Go back to first, and he is way out. They tried the hit and run bunt, and it comes up terribly.
Now pinching number 19, Sergio
That
Rivera.
batter has to make contact. That was a sacrifice bunt.
Hit and run sack bunt,
The batter got,
missed by Rivera,
he got to jump. He got to make contact.
and Caleb Scott got picked off. Rivera does bunt it, and he is out number 2 as Skinner makes the play. Now my question is, why still bunt? Why still bunt with nobody on?
I'm not quite sure either. I'm trying to decipher that in my head. The only thing that would make sense-ish would be because he has the wheels to do it, but that might have been a missed sign by Sergio Rivera, or a missed sign taken back.
So now Darrell Lee, who is 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts, looking a fly out to center and a fly out to left, is the last hope for the Wildcats tonight.
And I think that's what CatEye is telling him right now in their conversation, is it does not have to do anything crazy. Darrell is a fantastic hitter. He's the leadoff guy for a reason. He needs
Number 1, Darrell.
to see the pitches and not allow the 0 for 4 stats of today to get into his brain. Even with 2 outs, this team, you know they can do damage with 2.
The Wildcats look set to squander a 9th inning chance. Lee watches one outside. The leadoff single by Fernandez, and then the missed sack bunt by Sergio Rivera caused Caleb Scott to be caught in no man's land over at first. Rivera then bunted himself and was thrown out at first. Lee, big hack and a miss. He's trying to tie the game with 1 swing. Wildcats down to their last 2 strikes in what has been a high drama, high intensity game. Here at the Jack tonight, no team is led by more than 2. Lee fouls one off his foot. The Wildcats are down to their last strike. Chris Sosnowski looking for save number 3 on the year. 1 strike away from it, and 1 strike away from giving the Wildcats their first loss in 6 straight, and their first midweek loss since Jacksonville on March 24th. Lee stays alive.
I think that was the quietest the ballpark has been all night, right before that pitch was thrown.
Been a great crowd tonight. Fans of both teams have come out to the Jack. One of our biggest crowds of the season here on the final midweek home game. The 1-2. Barely got a piece of it, did Lee, and he'll see another 1-2. And Lee's got to be thinking here, if you're going to go down swinging.
Yep, you have to, especially with 2 strikes.
Lee ground ball, hard charge by Jacobs, and that is the game. UCF gets a massive win over Bethune-Cookman as they use 2 8th-inning runs to stun the Wildcats 5-4. And really, the Wildcats have themselves to blame for the 9th inning. It was a tough one strategically to watch up here, is that they squandered their base runner. Well,
that's really just the story of the game, right? They hurt themselves in that moment, and they didn't give themselves the best chance to win because they had unforced errors that caused them to potentially lose this game. You don't want to play a what if right now, but that is the story of this game. They had opportunities, not a ton to drive runs in early in the game. They went up early but could not maintain it at all. With UCF coming back, it was tight, and they just couldn't put it away at the end with base running.
UCF, 5 runs, 12 hits. They committed 1 error and left 13 on base. For Bethune-Cookman, 4 runs on 9 hits, committed 1 error and left 6 on base. Time of your ball game, 3 hours and 10 minutes. The winning pitcher is Kevin Schoenboom. Unfortunately, Pablo Torres takes the loss. The save goes to Sosnowski, his 3rd of the year. Bethune-Cookman drops to 29-12, is still 15-3 in SWAC conference play. UCF improves to 22-15. They're still 11-7 in SWAC conference play. That'll do it for us here at the Jack tonight. Thank you so much for listening and watching from wherever you have tuned in from. For producer Dayon, Jade Barquette, alongside me on the broadcast, and our entire CatEye Network broadcast crew here at the Jack tonight. We will see you on Friday at 5 p.m. for senior weekend softball action as the Wildcats take on Alabama A&M. Until then, have a very good rest of your evening. And as always, hail Wildcats.